This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Oh, okay. See, you all know that SAP has evolved from R2, then R3, then ECC, and then comes the fourth generation SAP suite. Okay, SAP claims this is the fourth generation SAP suite where they have integrated a lot of other key models into the same package. Like they have integrated PPDS into this, and a lot of the APO components they integrated into this S4HANA. So 4 represents the fourth generation suite, and HANA, you know that high analytical this one. With a rich user interface screen, they have developed this SAP fourth generation suite. So SAP started this with the 1511. That is the first version. Then year by year, they are rolling out to a new version. Now the latest is 1909. 19 represents the year and 09 represents the month. The basic things this we all know. Okay. Now in this S4HANA, what's the difference between this S4HANA compared to our ECC? Okay, from the technical side, S4HANA runs with a live cache memory. Like earlier, if you see, right, we have two architecture or three architecture when we integrate to other APO systems from ECC to S4HANA, EC to APO, supply chain management system. Whatever the data what we are creating in ECC will be transferring to APO. There we will do the planning. Instead of that, in the new HANA system, they have integrated both the things. Like they have added the APO functionalities also into this ECC system. So there is no transfer of data from ECC to APO now it's needed. And going back, they have reduced a lot of tables, the redundant tables which are there in all modules, and they consolidated into different new transactions and tables. So they have reduced a lot of business functionalities which are only required for the day-to-day business. Okay. And going forward, what they did, they created some user interaction rich UI screens which everyone can access. So it helps the end user or the planner to daily do the forecast and to do the planning and to run the production without any hassle. Like that, they have created this SAP system. And most of the transactions what we use in day to day in ECC, that is replaced by apps, Fiori apps. They call it as Fiori apps. So if you see each and every transaction what we use in ECC, that has a relevant change to some apps in S4HANA system. Okay. Now we will go into this. So this is the run simple. Wait, I'm new to this go to meeting. I will go to the initial screen. No, I could see some pop-up windows here. I'm trying to close that. Okay, now it's and now you can see my slides, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, these are the SAP architecture. If you see, right, central, you can see the S4HANA and the digital core S4HANA system. So to which you can see supplier collaboration, business network, customer experience, omni-channel, workforce engagement, big data. So all these things now, it's a two-way integration. Earlier, if you see, right, we have only the ECC system where we have to integrate to other systems, whereas the data will flow only one way from ECC to other systems. Now it's not the case. It's a two-way. So even from the other systems also you can create some data and you can transfer it to SAP. From SAP also you can create both masters and transactional. You can transfer. It's a two-way. Now it's integrated to the new models like SAP SuccessFactors, the replacement of HR, then SAP Ariba, the marketing tools, then SAP Hybris, then SAP HANA cloud platforms. Like that, they have integrated these core integration structures to different new technologies. Okay, when we go to the next one, this is just an overview to give a background of how SAP is integrated. So here if you see, right, what is the digitize behind the core embrace the digital economy. Why SAP has come up with this? You can see there is a three differentiation: digital economy, digital core, and digital transformation. So if you see this digital economy, why they have come up with this means IoT. If you see right, all the industry now it started with Industry 3.0. Industry 3.0, what they did is they integrated man and machine. Then Industry 4.0. Now all the industry they are talking on IoT. That is the Industry 5.0. Now they are in the progress. Straight away, most of the industries they are going for Industry 5.0. So in that the main things are IoT, Internet of Things, then the big data. So whatever the data, big data, then business networks. So how they are going to connect the different legal entities or the different plants which are situated at different locations with the customers and also with the vendors. Even if the customers and vendors, if they don't have the unified system, say for example, if you have a vendor from whom we are procuring the material and we have a customer whom we are selling the material, but both the customer and the vendor, it's not necessary that they should be in the same SAP system. They can be in different SAP, different technologies also. Maybe a customer, he can be in JD Edwards, or a vendor, he can be in a BAN software, and ourselves, we can be in a SAP system. So now there are possibilities to interact. Okay, the business connectivity, so we can have some contracts with them. With that we can receive and we can send the goods. The business connectivity is established with this. There are already some new kind of plugins are available to interact with the different systems at different areas, even with the web portals also. Those functionalities are possible now. Then earlier, if you see right, it's a conventional system. We have to every day go to the office. The outside it's restricted. Now it's not the case. So if you have your Internet Explorer anywhere on all the devices, you can log in. You can log in with your mobile. You can log in with your tab. You can log in with your this one laptops, desktops. Everywhere it's possible now. So it's this apps is allowed to run in all the OS, and also in all the devices. That is also possible. Then social networks. Now earlier, if you see it, SAP is a standalone system they had where you cannot analyze the data. Now the social media plays a vital role. Suppose if you are promoting a product, today you are launching a product. If you want to do some analysis, what is the trend for this? What is the people's this one interested on this? How much people want this product? Like that, you can take some analysis from the market, then you can analyze that, then you can bring the data as a forecast or some these things to our organization, and you can do that. So there are some SAP products like SAP Jam, those kind of things are available. It's integrated to this S4HANA. Ready plugins are available. Then the people, the traditional core value play and S4HANA value play, leasing edge process and integrated system. So you can add all the peoples into this system. Then digital core, what this digital core speaks about. In this S4HANA, you can see user is empowered. Earlier, users are restricted to only to certain screens in certain areas. So whatever the pain points they have in their current system, which it's very difficult for them. They need to always rely on some Excel environment, or they have to do some manual planning before they go for the actual. Whatever the results SAP is giving, they have to again reprocess. Suppose today night my MRP runs, and after that, if the user finds that whatever the MRP output, which is not suited for, which is not feasible for them, again they have to wait up to the next MRP run to do some changes. They cannot easily change it, or they have to depends on some consultants or consulting companies to come and help them in planning the data itself. So users are fed up, and what they did is from SAP they will download all the data. Again, they will do all the planning using an Excel. So whatever the data SAP has given, that's not 100% utilized for them. So now with this one, they can they're empowered. They can run. There is a new transaction called MRP Live. So n number of times they can run the MRP. So with the huge set of data, also it's only takes some few minutes of time because of this HANA database. Okay. Then process enriched. So earlier, if you see right, the SAP, it's not built with an analytical labs. Okay, only they can do the conventional transaction. They can run MRP, they can run the capacity requirement, and when MRP runs, it will create the purchase requisitions or proposals based upon the date, master data, whatever we offered in the material master and the purchase info record. So SAP will not do any analytical kind of things and propose them. Instead of getting from this vendor, you can get from this particular vendor. So this vendor quality score is high, this vendor is near to your location, this vendor price is very less. Like that, now SAP is built with a lot of analytical apps. So with that, it will give you some more idea from which vendor, if you procure this component, at what time, at what price, you will reach it in what quality. Like that, SAP is built with a lot of analytical apps now. And most of the reports, whatever the senior managements require, they will not be interested in day-to-day business run. So it's up to the production engineer to do that. So the management wants to see the overall picture. So in a month, if I could not able to meet the customer demand, where the error is, whether my resource is overutilized, whether my resource is underutilized, like that, there are a lot of this one analytical things are updated in that. And also you can see a lot of simulation is also possible in SAP. So earlier we have only MRP run. There are also only simulation button. You can have you noticed, MD04 at the last, if you can have that only that simulation mode, and you can run see the results. There is no other things. Now there are a lot of, in each and every app, if you go right, you can see the simulation run, test mode before you go for the actual things. That is also possible. Then live data. Okay, earlier if you see right, you have to transfer the data from R3 to APO, and from APO you can have to run some heuristics or some planning results there. Then that data, transactional data, it will immediately transfer. But in the R3, whatever the master data you have created, it transfers to APO only in the night run. So the user has to wait. Suppose if you want to do some critical planning and all, he will create all the master data in R3, and he has to wait for the night shift jobs, core interface jobs, to transfer it to APO. Then only he can see the exact planning results there. Now it's not the case, because this S4HANA itself is now a live catch system, and it's a live data now, and also the MRP live also they have brought it. So the live process they can do within S4HANA system. Okay. Now, any doubt in this, how the system architecture?
Clear, sir.
Okay, I'll go to next slide. Our next generation, most of the slides, if you see right, it's a repetition. Okay, most of the points what we covered in earlier system, so that will be earlier slides, that will be updated here also. Just to give an overview, when you go for the real SAP HANA systems, right, I will explain you each and every tab what is the changes which compares to our ECC. Okay. Here, S4HANA built the next generation business suite. So innovate in-memory database. That is the, maybe Aditya, since he is from the technical background, he knows this. So it's an in-memory database. Earlier system, if you see right, it's not in-memory. Now this S4HANA is in-memory. New architecture and data models. Then renowned applications. So if you see each and every UI screens, right, it's totally changed comparing to what we use in ECC, with a lot of tabs, lot of reports, and a lot of areas we can navigate comparing to our ECC screens. Suppose if you use MD04 in ECC and in S4HANA, you can see changes. From S4HANA, you can navigate it to different areas, different fields in MD04, whereas in ECC, that is not allowed. Then new UI technology, user interface technology. Then this S4HANA is available both in cloud and on-premises. So you know the advantages of cloud and on-premises, right?
Yes, sir. Cloud.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Then it is natively integrated. So S4HANA is a new product line. It's not a legal successor of any SAP business suite. Okay. If you see right, earlier SAP used to tell we are into R3, R2, R3, then ECC. Now it's altogether a new product line. It's not the successor of any of the new existing business suite. Okay. The classical SAP business suite and ERP is a separate product line and will still be available. If you see that when SAP has introduced this S4HANA, they told that we will support only up to 2020, then it extended to 2025. Now they are keep on extending. Even the core, this structures also. Even if the new customer, whoever wants to go, no, directly they can go for S4HANA. That is also possible. Earlier, the SAP is insisting, if you are in ECC within this period, we will stop your support. You need to go for S4HANA. No, that is not the case. Okay. Now, This slide earlier I explained. So SAP Hariba, SAP SuccessFactors, like that. We have all this with horizontal line, right? These are the new these things. So this is S4 HANA Enterprise Management Software. So you can see here SAP S4 HANA Sales, S4 Service, like that. You can see different bottom line. So this sales is by HAP Hybris, then service and this one also HAP Hybris, like that. So at the top, you can see all the marketing softwares. Ariba is a marketing software, then SuccessFactor, like that. You can see all the top one. This is the system architecture. Again, the slides are repeating. Okay, what are the key benefits of this technology? As I explained, this is the real-time one. So we can do easily predict. We can predict the results, and the simulation is also possible. Okay, because earlier the one restrictions what we have in ECC is the database. Okay, because of its database and also the record. Suppose if a big company like say for example a Ford or a Hyundai, uh, they will have huge set of data at different locations they have plant and multiple countries. Within the same country also they will have multiple plants, and also at different countries also they will have multiple plants. So when they run MRP or when they run some simulation results, always they advise not to run in the foreground because of this memory and also because of its database. So if what will happen if you run for two plants within India the same time MRP, if the data are same, then it will end up an error. So that those kind of problems they had. So always they have to depend on the background jobs. So they will schedule it in the background. They will may wait for the night run when no transactional activities happens. Then next day the user comes, he will verify the data and he will find out if there is any inconsistency. Again, he has to wait for the night run to happen, or else using MD01, 02, 03, you will run only for the single item, single component. So one line item you have to take and he has to run it. Now it's not the case in S4 HANA. Since it's a in memory and also with the HANA database, he can run his MRP n number of times at any point of time, even in the night or in the day or during the normal production also you can run it. So SAP HANA database, it's process huge number of data with a short span of time. So that is the capability of this S4 HANA. Okay, then he can do a lot of predictions, then it's very responsive, then drill downs also possible, lot of reports are available, then simulations and so recommendation, built-in driven decision support system. As I told some built-in decision making systems are available. So I said one example of this vendor, right? Like that there are a lot of decision making settings also available. Suppose if an customer who is giving a billing for you, whenever you send some material, immediately you are getting the amount from him. So that customer is high customer for you. Though if you receive a customer rush order from that customer, then SAP gives suggestions. Okay, this customer has very good this one credit with us, so you process for this customer. So to match this customer requirement, we don't have stock of this raw material, so from so and so vendors you can easily get this raw material. Like that SAP this S4 HANA, you can do a lot of decisions. Okay, that is also possible now. Now, why to go for simple logistics? If you see that earlier, our each and every our models are differentiated, like production planning, quality management, sales and distribution. Now in S4 HANA, they changed it into different terminologies. So our production, it comes in simple logistics, source and procurement. Like that, we have different terminologies. So here the production is called a simple logistics. So why to go for simple logistics? So increased throughput time. So increased system throughput by eliminating data maintenance and reduced data footprint. Okay, earlier if we see it, for the same set of data, there are different tables available. Okay, now what SAP did is they removed all the tables which are not relevant and they made all the data into a single source structure. Say for one example I can give you, if you see the planning file entry, correct? So what for this planning file entry used, Vishnu or Aditya?
Planning file entry is used in MRP. So when you run the MRP system, will generate planning file entry first step.
Okay, okay. And then what are the other areas where we are using this planning file entry?
Long-term
No,
planning.
sir.
Pardon?
The long-term planning you can do.
Yes, yes. So, what is the use of this planning file entry? Why SAP has created planning file entry is, see, earlier we are with the ECC. Okay, one sec, one sec. Oh, sorry. So earlier, if you see, right, today, you know this different type of MRP planning, right? We have three type of MRP planning when we run it in the background: NET UPL, NET CH, and another one regenerative. Okay, we have three. So what is the advantage? Always, if you see, right, our ECC, it runs with the net requirement planning. So they will not go for gross or regenerative. Correct. You know the difference between these three?
Yes, sir.
Gross, net, and regenerative. You know that. Why we are going for always for net requirement planning? Why we are not advised to go for regenerative or gross?
Because
Maybe we will.
regenerative plan,
Yes, yes, please.
regenerative planning, it is a first step after going implementation. We use regenerative planning.
Mm,
Basically, all the times we use planning horizon, matching for planning horizon. All the times, mostly we use.
okay. Then why can't with the gross, and we can also run gross every time, right? Why we are stick to only net? If you see, right, all our system in the background MDBT, only we might have selected only net requirement planning. Okay, regenerative, we understood. Okay, it's first during implementations, we will run this. Whereas grass is also, we can run it, why we are not running grass? Maybe let us make it more interactive so that, it will be interesting. Okay. Maybe Aditya, Vishnu?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going.
I think that the net change will always be taking care of the requirements that already exist, and then try to create the requirement, like the new requirement based on the quantities that is in stock. All those things will be taken care. Whereas
Even when we run, yeah, no,
regeneration,
regeneration, let us leave it. Yeah, it's the first time. Okay, even in the grass also, this will taken care, right?
yeah,
But what is the key change why we are not using grass for our background job? Even if you notice your ECC also currently, you can see mostly net requirement planning only they activated. This has some impact with the planning file entry. Okay, I will explain. See, ECC, it has got the limited database. As I said, limited database. So when you run gross requirement planning, it takes all the materials in the plant, and it takes all the requirement elements and receipt elements, and it runs. Okay, the system load will increase. And there is no need also. What net requirement does, so whenever you do some changes to that material with respect to the requirements element, okay, suppose today I have received an order, I have run an MRP, I have created a proposal. Okay, after that I have never changed that material for next 1 month. So even the next MRP runs happens also, since there is no change to this material, it will not be considered in the MRP run. Okay, only whenever there is some change happens to this material, that material will update in the planning file entry. Only those records it will be taken care for the next run when you run this net requirement planning. That is the constraint what we had in ECC. Even though we don't know what are the changes happen for different materials, suppose if the material details are not updated in the planning file entry, sometimes it will not update the planning file entries also if users are some manually changing. But the thumb rule is that whenever you do some changes to the requirement, it should update the planning file entry. So only those records it will take for the planning run. Suppose you have not touched the material for a long time, it's lying there with some open orders. So until you run the gross requirement planning, those results or those details you will not come in the MRP run itself. Only you will run with the net requirement planning. So first issue is that because of the database limitations, and second is that if you run for gross comparing to net requirement, it will take more time. It will process all the records in spite of whether it went on change before the last MRP run or even though it is lying for so time also, it will never be considered. So the advantages of S4HANA is that they changed this planning file entry table now. So when you run MRP live itself, it will take for all, even the net and gross also there, but it will consider all the requirements and receipts, and it will delete and recreate or based upon your selections, that MRP parameters, it will run. So that is one advantage. Now you can see the difference, right?
Yeah. So what you're trying
Yes,
to
sir.
say is like when you say the grass, it takes care of all the requirements from the beginning,
Yes,
and
yes.
where net change is just only with the
uh,
requirements that got changed recently, and
yes,
then it
yes.
recalculates everything. Okay.
Yeah. That is what the planning file entry does right now. If you do the net requirement planning, only you can see the materials which are when changed from the last MRP only, that will be considered for the net requirement planning. So why SAP has come like that is because of the database and its limitations. That there is no need to run for all the materials, correct? So only whatever the materials which went on change from the last MRP run, only if you run for that material, that is enough. Correct, now that is the basic requirement a planner also requires. Correct.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Now with this HANA database, you can run for all the materials, all the plants, because since we are running in an in-memory database and a huge volume of data also you can process. And also you can do it in a real lifetime. Okay, you do not to wait for the night jobs. So that is the major advantage SAP is climbing on this MRP live. Okay, on this S4HANA. So if you see, right, you can go through these slides. Okay, now we'll go to important slides. So these are the models. Okay, if you see that earlier we had this production planning like that. If you see now, these are the line of business, they are calling it as LOB. Okay, earlier if you see, right, they used to call it as each models. Now they are claiming it as line of business. So finance one line of business, supply chain, R&D and engineering, sales, manufacturing, sourcing and procurement, asset management, service. You can see these are the line of business. If you go to any SAP S4HANA library, you can see the segregations based upon this. So our area comes in manufacturing. So sourcing and procurement is So asset management is either FCM or PM also will play a role. So service, CS model, like that you can see all the details in this. Okay, each and everything now they are coming up with the different products, and also within the same S4HANA product they have embedded this. So now we are talking on the simple logistics. The simple logistics contains of all these models. So earlier screen, if you see, right, these are every model. Then simple logistics, it contains supply chain, sales, sourcing and procurement, sustainability, manufacturing, R&D, asset management and service. So all these apps, all these models contains the simple logistics. Now even you can add a few more things also if you want, like Ariba also, if you want to add to your simple logistics, you can. But SAP has segregated, SAP has formulated these things like this. Okay, these are the models which are complaints for the simple logistics. Then why to go for materials management? Okay, this is for materials management. We will skip this. Okay, this is related to material management. Okay, you are familiar with the SAP screens, right, Aditya and Vishnu?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, see this is how this SAP screen will look. Okay, if you see that each and every tab, right, these are the Fiori apps. If you see Material Master, you can see one like that. This you can configure it also as per your requirement. Here also you can, the authorization matrix is there. So only whoever you are given authorization on, only those tiles will be available. Even in SAP, what you can do is you can create your own temporary tiles also for planning. That is also possible. Suppose today you reached your plant and you start your production. You found that some 5 materials which are critical in nature. So only for the 5 materials you can select, and you can create your own tile for the best for better analysis. Then after doing all the analysis, after doing the procurement, everything for that material, you can delete the tile. A temporary tile also you can create for our better planning. That is also possible. Okay. And permanent tiles, with the help of an developer, we can create, if you like custom reports what we are creating, you can create your this one also, permanent tiles also you can create. Only few analytical areas and few areas you can create your temporary work tile you can create. Have you tried to create any new work tile?
No, sir.
Okay. See now, if you see that these are the related to our manufacturing view screens. So earlier, if you see, right, we have this starting from MD01, 02, 03, 04, then 05, 06. All these things are called as MRP screens, but all these things are not integrated. If you see that MD01, it's a single item, MD02 single item multi-level, MD03, then MD04 is for stock, live stock. Then MD05 is for last MRP run. MD0607 and all is for analysis. Like that, we had got lot of screens. MDBT is for background run. So these things are not integrated. Now SAP has integrated all these things into a concept called MRP cockpit. Okay. This terminology, whenever you go for some interview or something, people will ask, what is this MRP cockpit? Okay, it starts with your MD61 planned independent requirement screen. Okay, from there how they are planning the forecast, or if you start from the sales, how they are creating the sales order, like that. The entire logistics and the procurement and the production process they are calling as a MRP cockpit. Okay, here you can see monitor KPI, key performance index. You can do receive alerts. Earlier, if you see that only exceptional messages you have, correct? When you run MRP, you will get only the exceptional messages. So what is exceptional messages? You are aware, right? The 20, 50, 40.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So 20 means cancel. If you don't have any header requirement, then even if you create some manual plant order or production order, you can see the exceptional messages 20. Delete that plant order. If no bomb is there, it will give exceptional messages 40. No bomb is found. But when you see the APO system, right, you can create your own alert profiles. Okay, suppose if the stock for this material is going down, create an alert profile. Like that, you can define your own alert profiles. Like that, you can receive alerts on material shortages, then late purchase orders, etc. You can create some alerts also. Then that is the material planning view. So you can see the screen itself, now it's small. When you go to the real system, you can see lot of details at the left hand side, at the top, and also at the bottom, and from this also you can navigate to different sub screens. Okay, that is also possible. Then solution proposals. So as I mentioned, you can see 3-star, 2-star, based upon the vendor. With this one, it will propose you some solutions also. That is also possible. These analytics are inbuilt within this S4HANA system. So decision support and solution proposal. So this is the new screen. So you can see direct automatic decision support with various solution proposals, how to solve the shortage situation. Suppose if you are facing a shortage solution situation in a raw material, so how to solve this? So it will give you accept, change, like that. It will give you some details. So from instead of procuring from this vendor has high lead time, so procure from this vendor. Like that, it will give you some decisions also, with which you can make some decisions. This it will give you after your MRP live run. Okay, so these are inbuilt. So different types of reports also you can see. You can see it in whatever the standard Excel reports what you are taking, pie chart or bar chart or graph, like that. In SAP these charts are inbuilt now. Okay, that is also possible now. So these are the material requirement planning. As I explained, business challenge, increased customer service, low inventory accuracy, then revenue loss due to stock outs, Then on-time delivery promise we could not able to make. Then missing parts in the production. These are our business challenges, correct? In day to day, if you see that whatever the planning methodology, what we have it also, if there is a delay in customer, sorry, from the vendor, we cannot go for our production. This always happens in all the industries. Suppose we have procured 100 components. When you go for real production, only 80 components is of real use. 20 it's went for scrap. Again, we need to search for the vendor. We don't have any concrete reliable vendor. We don't have any system to find out who is the vendor who is giving us, even though we maintain this quality info record, then purchase info record based upon after evaluation also in ECC, we are not getting the correct accurate results. And also we need to find out when you after the MRP run, if there are 3 to 4 vendors, we need to see which vendor is that. We have to analyze. Instead of that, now it's an inbuilt one where you can see the results. And also this is the basic engineering, right? We cannot procure a lot of materials and store in our plant. That is a dead inventory for us. We are investing the cost in the inventory. We don't know in the future whether we are going to use this component. If suddenly if the customer cancels this order, then we will not use this. I give one live example. What happened in my current company is that we had some orders from Singapore, and we bought it from the vendor. So we already paid some 3 crores, and we bought the material, and material is lying in our plant. Now, because of this COVID, we could not able to export this to the other country customer. And customer also, now we are not sure whether he recover this component. Only thing is that if he cancels that, he will pay the minimum penalty. Whereas we already paid the amount to the vendor, huge amount we paid to the vendor, our billing, everything closed, we bought the material. Now we don't know how we are going to supply this. So those kind of scenarios, because of this lead long time, we could not able to do this correct sales. If it is a short lead time, if we are going to send to the customer tomorrow, and if you are damn sure that there is a particular vendor lying near to my factory who can deliver these components to me within 2 days of time, then always I can promise the customer, I can get the material from the vendor, I can immediately ship it to the customer. Instead of that, if my procurement process itself, it takes 10 days, and shipping everything, then import export, it reaches my plant after 20 days, and again I need to send to the customer after 20 days, 40 days lead time. We don't know, in between anything can happen, correct? Like this COVID comes under we cannot do anything. So with this SAP HANA analytics, we can reduce the inventory timings. That is possible. It will give us some proposals. Then business benefits. So clear visibility across the material flow increases user acceptance and efficiency. Then proactive decision making in response to challenge changing demand. Then flexible tailoring of available capacities and recipes to meet required quantities. So if you see that ECC, this capacity planning is always an challenging task. Correct, Aditya and Vishnu. We could not able to do 100% perfect capacity when you work with ECC, correct? Even the scheduling is
Yes.
also very difficult. So that's the reason SAP has introduced one more component called APO. If you see that APO, there are three components they have introduced initially. One is the DP, demand planning, then SNP, supply network planning, then the PPDS, production planning and detailed scheduling. If you see that DP, it's the long-term planning, and the SNP is a mid-term planning, and the PPDS is the short-term planning. So PPDS is the replacement of your production planning, where you can do both material requirement planning and also scheduling in a single step. Whereas in ECC, first you have to do only the material requirement planning, then again you have to run some transactions to do your capacity planning, correct? So whereas in APO, the advantages is that you can do even the 10 steps. Suppose if you want to do your material first, then you can do. Then the second step, if you want to do your capacity, you can take. Then third step, if you want to sequence your order, you can do. Then fourth step, if you want to see some other alerts also, you can do. Like that, 10 different functions you can do. After running all those functions, you will get the final result. That is the advantages of SAP PPDS functionality. Have you people worked on SAP APO, or you know the architecture how it is?
General knowledge, sir. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So now this is integrated. Even in the MRP live, you can see whether you want to run this material in R3 or in APO. That functionality is also possible. So once you activate at the material level, this material is relevant for APO planning within the same system. Earlier, you have to transfer this material from R3 to APO. You have to shift this core interface. Now it's available within the same system, so no need to do the sifting process. That is totally eliminated. There is no sift queue error. Earlier, if you see all the companies, they will have a big set of team who is monitoring only the sift queues, correct? You can see the sift monitoring people, so every day they will log in, they will check on every hour. If the data are not getting transferred from R3 to APO, or from APO the transactional data are not flowing back to R3, then the entire production stops. They cannot do the production, they will not ship, then it will be a critical issue. Now within the same system, so these things are eliminated. So that's what here they are talking about. Then capabilities. So prioritized view on material flow issues. So here each and every UI screens you can see what is required for the planner to do yeah, accurate planning. So each and every tab, each and every field, it will give the user some informations. So those are available. So MRP can run as frequently as required, up to 10 times faster, okay, comparing to our ECC. Now they have come up with now they had this PPDS. Now they have come up with the DDMRP. DDMRP. Now again SAP is coming with a new MRP called predictive MRP. That is also possible. Whereas as per my knowledge, DDMRP no company has implemented so far. It's a new topic. Even SAP is doing some R&D on that. Still, the complete version of DDMRP is not available in the market. Okay. Now next advancement is the predictive MRP. So based upon our sudden demand or sudden, now MRP is coming up with a new concept called predictive MRP. The concept why DDMRP come up is that we have an institute called Demand Driven Institute. From there, SAP got this idea and they integrated their product into our S4HANA system. Okay, where we are? Okay, we are in. Okay, we have only 4 minutes now. Okay, I'll run through this. So optimized by MRP run. You go through the slides. So these are the MRP runs. As I explained, all these things related to MRP run only. Push down in MRP. So principle of code push down in MRP live. So dispatcher, app server, DB server. This is the system architecture. So this is one how it is done in the SAP system. You go through this. It's just information. So you will understand. Okay. So these are the key changes. Okay. There is one simplification list. Maybe you note down. It's called a simplification list. SAP HANA simplification list. By any chance, have you went through this?
Uh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, okay. You can download the latest simplification list. Okay, from the this one online portals, it's available. You can download that. In that, you can go to each and every tab related to MRP. There, the SAP has given what is the changes comparing to ECC and also comparing to earlier version. They have updated in the simplification list. Okay. So if you see, right, the first change what SAP is claiming that earlier, if you see, right, only 18 characteristics are allowed in the material master field, correct? So
Yes, sir.
now they have increased this to 40 characteristics. But here one advantage is you can use 40 characteristics. One disadvantage is that suppose if you are working with the system 18 characteristics and if you increase to 40 characteristics, again if you want to bring back to 80 characteristics, it's not possible. If you extend it to 40 characteristics, then it's fixed. You cannot again bring back to 18 characteristics. Okay.
Okay.
Why it's not possible to bring back is that once you enter some 40 characteristics, already some transactional data, some set of activities might have taken place. So if you want to again bring back, you have to delete all the database entries. It's not at all possible, correct? Somewhere or other, some parts the material number will be there, some transactional data will be there related to this particular material, some or other informations it will be available in the system. So when you try to again bring back to 18 characteristics, it's not at all possible. So once you expand and create some material, then you cannot bring it back. Okay, this is one major change SAP what is claiming. Then simplified for human desirability. So Fiori offering a beautiful role-based integrated user experience with modern usability based on mobile first principle. Okay, earlier we used to only come to our office to work. Now from anywhere you can work. So this is the timing what SAP is claiming. Okay. So user activity, so duration, click, screen changes, you can see these are from the SAP standard. What SAP is claiming, we have taken these details. Okay. Then discrete manufacturing. In manufacturing, if you see, right, we have different kind of scenarios. Discrete manufacturing, repetitive manufacturing, those are the main two differentiation. Then planning, we have long-term planning, short-term planning, then mid-term planning. Like that, we have lot of planning process. So yeah, how familiar you are with the discrete and the repetitive?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
a
I have the
background
knowledge
is
about that.
this.
Okay, okay. Both the things you want us to cover, or only if you run through discrete, that is enough, correct?
Would be good based if the time, but probably first preference is discrete.
First, we will go for discrete. Repetitive also I explained. The only major change is that the repetitive, it's PCC, product cost collector.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas discrete we will not have PCC. Here we will go with the standard cost estimate. Okay, that is the only advantage here. Okay. So ATP, this is one new topic. Earlier, if you see, right, we have this conventional ATP available to promise. Okay, when you create an SD order, if you do an availability check, it will run and it will check for the open orders, everything. It will give you a result when you can available, when you can promise to the customer. It will give a available date for the customer. Now, SAP has come up with some more advanced ATP. Okay, it's a new concept which is integrated to this S4HANA. We are not going to touch this concept. It's altogether a new topic, advanced ATP, which is part of this S4HANA. Okay, maybe I'll give some links. You can refer the documents there, advanced ATP. Then comprehensive plan to produce in one system. If you see, right, earlier the architecture they are given it. So PPDS and the ERP. Now it's integrated. Both the things are integrated here. I will touch upon some of the PPDS heuristics. We will run on basic heuristics and let us analyze the results. We will not go much detail into PPDS because the at itself it's a new model, but we will see how the PPDS, what are the functionalities required in material master in other masters to enable the material relevant for PPDS planning. That part I will take. I will touch. Okay, but we will not go for the detailed PPDS planning. Okay, these are the responsive screen. Again, the same screen they have given it. Sorry, I will go down. So this is the last screen. So here I have given this is the last screen. So new takeaways, key takeaways is new developments, then choice of deployment, where you want to do, whether in the cloud or in the on-premises. So it has got a rich user interface. Then what are the native HANA capabilities? Then technical innovations. You can see how much time it's under. Before we start tomorrow class, I want you to come up with some material and the bill of material and the operational details. Is that possible? So that we can, I'll explain you. You can start to create, and we will run it as a mini project, so that you will be also familiar with the screens. Hello, Aditya and Vishnu.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe with the one header material, simple BOM with the 5 set of components. Just to create, maybe I think Naveen has shared the system. Since you already know the SAP, in the ECC itself, you directly create the materials first. Okay, only the materials you create, header material and the file chai material. Then I will create one material. I will show you what are the fields which are updated in S4HANA. Then what are the key changes? Now they have introduced this production version. So why it is required? So what is the functionality of it? So tomorrow we will start with the material master. We will not waste time in creating the masters, because you people, you are already familiar with SAP screens. So if you create and come, we will go through the key areas, then we will go and create the next master data. You will spend more time on the planning and the execution areas. You will not spend much time on this one, masters. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks then. Yeah, thanks. If you have any questions, just send me a mail, so that I will also prepare and come back. If you want any new topics to add, also let me know. I'll discuss with Navin. Because
Yeah. Do you have
DDMRP,
any
it will.
list of, do you have any list of topics which you plan to cover?
Yes, I'll send that. I'll send that, Aditya.
Okay.
Okay, DDMRP will not be part of this training, Aditya, because it's altogether a new concept. So even I am only familiar with 50% of DDMRP. Even the SAP side, they have not fully developed this DDMRP. It's developed only 80-90%, and as per my knowledge, none of the customer is using this DDMRP also. Even from
Okay.
our companies also, we are promoting this, but even we have to do a lot of calculations. Even the end user, he has to work like a consultant to implement this DDMRP, even to run this DDMRP.
Okay. How about the MRP Live and the ATP?
Yeah, no, ATP, it's not related to our planning. The advanced ATP, it's a new model. But MRP Live and all, see, whatever is there in our production planning, like MRP Live, and then changes to S4HANA related to the manufacturing process, then confirmations, what are the changes. So those details, it will be covered as part of this. So what are the
Okay.
new apps available? What are the reports available? How to navigate? Then I explained on the different analytical apps, right? What are the advantages of it? Then PPDS, our part of planning. So how it's integrated, how to activate that material for the PPDS planning. Then simple heuristics I will run and I will explain you.
Okay. And using the Fiori apps, or you?
Using the Fiori apps, using the Fiori apps. Because that is the core of this S4HANA, right?
Exactly.
In
Yeah, that's
in
what.
in and also, if you use the standard transactions, it will not be no use for us. We'll only use the Fiori apps.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, please send
I'll
the
give.
details of the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you, and also I'll give some standard SAP links where you can find out what are the Fiori apps. Even if now also you can go to SAP Library of HANA, and you can see under the line of business of manufacturing what are the apps available. That also you can see.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
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 Let us make it more interactive, so that if you also ask a lot of questions. So if you ask, if you go through the existing one, and if you come ask some questions, I can also prepare if I don't know, or else if I know, I will explain you. It's not that whatever I know only explain. That will not be very
Okay.
interesting. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay, sir.
tomorrow you prepare some materials, create some material directly in the system. So we will
Okay.
start.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks both of you. Thanks, Naveen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll close this.